senior veteran, until he deadlifted twice their weight. The gym opens at 5 in the morning. Most days it stays empty until 6:30, when the office workers arrive with their coffee and their routines. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's always one person waiting at the door when the locks turn. His name is Frank Novak, 73 years old. Thin gray hair, shoulders that slope forward just slightly, the way shoulders do when they've carried too much for too long. He wears the same faded Marines t-shirt every time, the fabric so worn you can barely read the eagle, globe, and anchor anymore. He doesn't talk much, nods at the front desk, fills his water bottle, walks to the far corner of the weight room where the older equipment sits, the stuff nobody uses anymore because it doesn't have Bluetooth or touch screens. Frank doesn't need screens. He needs iron. He moves slowly, not from weakness, from precision. Every step deliberate, every breath measured. The kind of movement you learn when rushing gets people killed. On this particular Thursday morning in November, Frank arrives at 5:02 a.m. The sky outside is still dark. The fluorescent lights inside buzz softly, casting everything in that pale industrial glow that makes early mornings feel like waiting rooms. He sets his gym bag down, unzips it carefully, pulls out his lifting belt, cracked leather, brass buckle clouded with age. He runs his thumb over the belt's surface before setting it aside. Then he begins his warm-up. 10 minutes of stretching, nothing fancy, just the movements his body remembers. Hips, hamstrings, lower back. The physical therapist at the VA told him he'd need a cane by 70. Frank's been proving him wrong for 3 years now. By 5:45, the gym starts to fill. Young professionals, college students. And this morning, 3 men in their mid-20s who move through the space like they own it. They're not bad people. Not really. Just loud. Confident in the way you can only be when you haven't been broken yet. They wear matching compression shirts, expensive lifting shoes, wrists wrapped in bright neon straps. They film every set, checking angles, counting likes. Their names are Tyler, Brad, and Marcus. They train together 4 times a week. They talk about macros and supplements and personal records. They're strong, legitimately strong. Tyler can bench 315. Brad pulls 405 on deadlifts. Marcus just hit a 225-pound overhead press. They notice Frank immediately. "Yo, check out Grandpa over there," Tyler says, not quite whispering. Brad grins. "Bro, is that shirt from the actual Vietnam War?" They laugh. Not cruel, just careless. The kind of laughter that doesn't consider who might hear it. Marcus films Frank on his phone, adding text. When your grandpa thinks he's still got it, Frank hears them. Of course he hears them. But he doesn't look up. He's setting up the barbell now, loading 45s onto each side. The plates are old, iron, rusted at the edges, each one stamped with the weight in white paint that's mostly chipped away. 135 pounds, a warm-up weight. Frank steps to the bar, bends at the hips, wraps his calloused hands around the knurling, lifts. The bar rises smooth and controlled. He holds it at the top for a breath, then lowers it with the same precision. "Aw, that's sweet," Tyler says, a little louder now. "He's still got some moves." "Yeah, but did he post it on Instagram?" Brad adds. "If you don't film it, did it even happen?" They laugh again. Tyler walks past Frank's platform, makes eye contact, and smirks. Frank sets the bar down, adds another plate to each side. 225 pounds now. He lifts it. Same form, same control. The bar doesn't shake. His back stays straight. At the top, he pauses, just for a moment, then lowers the weight with a soft metallic clink. Marcus nudges Brad. "You think he's trying to impress someone? Maybe his nursing home has a talent show," Brad says. They're at the squat rack now, loading their own bar. They're planning to film their deadlift session later, post it with some motivational caption about pushing limits and grinding hard. The algorithm loves that stuff. Frank adds another pair of plates, 315 pounds. This is where most people his age would stop. This is where most people, period, would feel it. But Frank doesn't stop. He chalks his hands, pulls the lifting belt tight around his waist, closes his eyes. For just a second, he's not in this gym anymore. He's 22 years old, Khe-Sanh, 1968, red clay and concertina wire, the weight of a wounded Marine on his shoulders, the weight of a promise he made and kept. The weight of walking 3 miles through sniper fire because leaving a man behind wasn't an option. He opens his eyes, steps to the bar, and the moment shifts. The gym is fully awake now. Music pulses through overhead speakers, something electronic and aggressive. The treadmills hum, weights clang, people grunt and breathe and sweat. But in Frank's corner, there's a different kind of rhythm, slow, focused, earned. He stands over the barbell at 315 pounds and rolls his shoulders back. The movement is small but intentional, resetting his frame, finding his center. His hands grip the bar just outside his knees. Mixed grip. Left hand over, right hand under. He breathes in through his nose, holds it, braces his core, then he pulls. The bar breaks from the floor without hesitation. His hips drive forward, his back stays locked. The weight rises in one smooth, unbroken line until Frank stands fully upright, the barbell hanging at arm's length. He holds it there. 3 seconds, 5, then lowers it with control. It's not a max lift. It's a statement. Tyler notices. He elbows Brad, gestures with his chin toward Frank. "Did you see that?" "See what?" "Old dude just pulled 315 like it was nothing." Brad shrugs. "Probably his max. Good for him." But Tyler's not so sure. There's something about the way Frank moved, something that doesn't match the gray hair and the worn-out shirt. Something that feels solid. Frank steps back, adds 2 more plates, 405 pounds. Now people are starting to watch. A woman on the rowing machine slows down, glances over. A trainer walks closer, pretending to check on a client, but really watching Frank. Even the front desk guy leans forward. Brad sets his phone down. "Wait, is he actually going for 4 plates?" "No way," Marcus says. That's more than you pull." Brad frowns. "Yeah, but I'm not 70. "Exactly." Frank doesn't hear them, or maybe he does and just doesn't care. He's back in his own head now, back in that space where the body remembers what the mind tries to forget. He chalks his hands again. The powder clouds white in the air, drifts to the rubber floor. He tests his grip on the bar. Left hand, right hand. Adjusts his stance, feet shoulder width, toes slightly out. He looks at the weight, 405 pounds of iron, cold and indifferent. He's lifted heavier. Not here, not in this clean, climate-controlled box with its mirrors and motivational posters, but in other places, in the mud and heat of Southeast Asia. In the years after, when the weight wasn't on a bar but in his chest, pressing down every morning when he woke up and remembered which friends didn't make it home. Frank learned a long time ago that strength isn't about how much you can lift. It's about how much you can carry. And keep walking. He bends down, grips the bar, sets his back, breathes in. The gym noise fades, the music, the conversations. All of it becomes distant, like listening to the world from underwater. There's only the bar now, and the lift, and the memory of every other time he chose not to quit. He pulls. The bar doesn't move at first. 400 pounds is 400 pounds, and physics doesn't care about your story. But Frank doesn't rush. He stays tight, keeps tension, lets his legs do the work, and then, slowly, inexorably, the bar rises. Inch by inch, the plates lifting off the rubber mats, his knees extending, his hips pushing forward, his traps and lats firing in perfect coordination. The bar climbs past his shins, past his knees. His face is calm, no grimace, no shaking, just focus. The bar reaches his thighs. He locks his hips, stands fully upright. 405 pounds, held steady. No belt popping, no trembling hands. He holds it for 3 full seconds, then he lowers it. Controlled all the way down. The weights touch the floor with a soft metallic thud. Frank lets go of the bar, stands up straight, rolls his shoulders. The gym is silent now. Tyler's mouth is open. Brad has forgotten about his phone. Marcus just stares. The woman on the rowing machine stops completely. The trainer crosses his arms, nods slowly with something like respect. Frank reaches for his water bottle, takes a sip, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. Then he adds 2 more plates, 495 pounds, 5 plates on each side of the bar. The kind of weight that separates the strong from the truly exceptional. The kind of weight most people never touch. The gym is quiet now in a different way. Not empty, There are still 30 people scattered across machines and benches, but everyone's aware of what's happening in the far corner. Frank doesn't acknowledge the attention. He's not lifting for them. He chalks his hands one more time. The block of chalk is nearly gone, worn down to a nub from years of use. He crumbles what's left between his palms, then claps them together once. The sound is sharp in the stillness. Brad walks closer, not mocking now, curious, maybe a little humbled. "Hey man," he says, voice lower than before. "You need a spot or anything?" Frank glances at him. The look isn't hostile, but it's not warm either. It's the look of someone who's been underestimated his whole life and stopped needing validation decades ago. "I'm good," Frank says. His voice is quiet, gravelly, the voice of someone who doesn't waste words. Brad nods, steps back. But he doesn't leave. None of them do. Frank approaches the bar. This time, his movements are slower, not from doubt, from respect. You don't rush weight like this. You don't treat it casually. He sets his feet, bends at the hips. His hands find the bar, and for a moment, he just holds it there, feeling the knurling bite into his palms, feeling the weight of nearly 500 pounds resting on the floor. His mind drifts. He's not trying to let it drift. It just does. That's how memory works when you're older. It shows up uninvited. He's back in Da Nang, 1969. The air is so thick with humidity, it feels like breathing through a wet cloth. He's loading supply crates onto a transport truck. Each crate weighs 80 pounds. He loads 47 of them in 2 hours because the chopper schedule got moved up, and there's no one else to do it. His back hurts for a week after, but the supplies get where they need to go. And because they get where they need to go, a field hospital has the morphine it needs when a convoy hits a mine outside Hue. You don't get medals for loading crates. You don't get stories written about you. But someone lives because you did the work. That's what strength is. Frank breathes in, tightens his grip. He thinks about his wife, Janet. Married 46 years before the cancer took her. She used to tell him he was too hard on himself, that he didn't need to carry everything alone. But Frank never learned how to put weight down. Even when it hurt, even when it would have been easier. He thinks about his son, David, Army Ranger, killed in Fallujah, 2004, 23 years old. David used to lift with him in the garage back home, old rusty weights on a bent barbell, the two of them counting reps in the summer heat. David could deadlift 405 when he was 19. Frank pulls 495 for him now. The bar breaks the floor. His whole body tightens, legs, core, back, everything working, together. The weight is immense. It wants to stay on the ground. But Frank doesn't let it. He pulls. The bar climbs. Slower this time. Every inch earned. His breathing is controlled but audible now. Deep exhales timed with the pull. Past his shins. The bar drags up his legs, past his knees. His hips hinge forward. His lower back is on fire. Not injury, just effort. The kind of burn that reminds you you're alive. The bar reaches his thighs. He locks out, stands tall. 495 pounds, held steady. The gym erupts in applause. People clapping. Someone whistles. The trainer shouts, "Hell yeah, brother!" Tyler and Brad and Marcus just stand there, stunned. Frank holds the weight for 5 full seconds. Not for show, because that's what the lift requires. Then he lowers it, slow and controlled, until the plates rest on the floor again. He lets go, steps back, puts his hands on his hips and breathes. His heart is pounding. His hands are shaking just slightly from the adrenaline, but his face is calm. Brad walks up. "Sir, that was incredible." Frank nods once. "Thanks. How long have you been lifting?" Frank looks at him. "Long time." Tyler steps forward, and for the first time all morning, he's not smirking. Did you serve?" Frank's jaw tightens, just barely. "Marines, 2 tours." Marcus's face changes. "Vietnam?" "Yeah." There's a beat of silence, the kind that says more than words. "My grandpa was there," Marcus says quietly. He doesn't talk about it much. Frank nods. "Most of us don't." Brad glances at the barbell. "So you've been lifting since back then?" "On and off. Kept me sane." Frank picks up his water bottle. "You boys are strong, but strength's not just about the weight. It's about why you're lifting it." He doesn't say it harshly, just truthfully. Tyler looks down. Yeah. Frank starts unloading the bar. Brad moves to help him, but Frank waves him off. I got it. He removes the plates one by one, stacking them neatly in their proper place. The gym slowly returns to its normal rhythm, people back on machines, conversations resuming. But something has shifted. Frank finishes his workout at 6:47 a.m. He stretches, wipes down his equipment, puts his lifting belt back in his bag and zips it carefully, the same ritual he's followed for years. As he walks toward the exit, the front desk guy, a college kid named Aaron, calls out to him, "Hey, Mr. Novak, that was amazing, man. Seriously." Frank stops, offers a small smile. "Just another Thursday. Would it be okay if I asked you something?" Frank nods. Aaron hesitates, then says, "Why do you still do it? The lifting, I mean. Like, you've already proven yourself, right?" Frank is quiet for a moment. He looks out through the gym's front windows at the parking lot. The sun is just starting to rise now, painting the asphalt in shades of orange and gold. "I lift," Frank says slowly, "because every time I pick up that bar, I'm reminding myself I'm still here, still able, still useful." He pauses. "And because the weight's the easy part, it's the rest of it that's heavy." Aaron doesn't fully understand, but he nods anyway. Frank heads for the door. Tyler, Brad, and Marcus are standing near the water fountain. As Frank passes, Tyler steps forward. "Hey, Mr. Novak, right?" Frank stops. "We just wanted to say sorry for earlier. We didn't—" Tyler struggles to find the words. "We were being disrespectful." Frank studies him for a moment, then his expression softens. "You're young. You're supposed to be stupid." A hint of a smile. "Just don't stay stupid." Brad laughs nervously. "We won't, I promise." "Good." Frank adjusts the strap of his gym bag. "Keep training, you've got strength. Now figure out what to do with it." Marcus speaks up. "Could we maybe train with you sometime?" Frank considers this. "Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 a.m. If you can get here on time, I'll teach you what I know." All three of them nod eagerly. Frank walks out into the November morning. The cold air hits his face, sharp and clean. His legs are tired, his hands are sore, but he feels good. He drives home in his '04 Silverado, the same truck he's had for 20 years. The radio is off. He likes the quiet. When he gets home, he parks in the driveway and sits in the cab for a minute, looking at the house. It's small, needs a new roof. The lawn is patchy, but it's his. Inside, he makes coffee, toast with butter, sits at the kitchen table and opens the newspaper, the actual paper, not a screen. On the refrigerator, held up by a magnet, is a photograph. Frank in his dress blues, 1967. 22 years old, clean-shaven, eyes bright. Next to him, another photo. David in his ranger uniform, same eyes, same quiet strength. Frank looks at the photos every morning, has for years. "Pulled 495 today," he says quietly, like they can hear him. "Still got it." He sips his coffee. The house is silent except for the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking of the clock on the wall. Outside, the world is waking up. People rushing to work, kids heading to school, everyone carrying their own weight. Frank finishes his coffee, washes the cup, sets it in the drying rack. Then he sits in his chair by the window and watches the neighborhood come alive. Later that evening, his phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. "Hey, Mr. Novak, it's Tyler from the gym. Just wanted to say thanks again. See you Tuesday at 5. We'll be on time. Promise." Frank reads it twice. Then he types back, slowly, one letter at a time. "Good. Bring coffee." He sets the phone down, smiles to himself. The sun is setting now, casting long shadows across the living room. Frank sits in the fading light and thinks about weight, about what it means to carry it, about what it costs to put it down. He thinks about the men he served with, the ones who made it home and the ones who didn't, the ones who kept lifting and the ones who couldn't anymore. He thinks about the gym, bros, young and loud and so certain of their strength. They'll learn, he thinks, or they won't. Either way, the weight is still there, waiting. Frank closes his eyes, just for a moment, just to rest. When he opens them again, the room is darker, the shadows deeper. He stands slowly, turns on a lamp. The light fills the space, warm and steady. Tomorrow is Friday. He'll go to the VA for his checkup, then to the grocery store, then home. And on Tuesday, he'll be at the gym at 5 in the morning, same as always. Because the weight doesn't lift itself, and neither do the memories. But if you show up, if you do the work, if you keep your hands on the bar and your feet on the ground, you carry it, one rep at a time. Frank Novak still trains at that gym, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 a.m. sharp. Tyler, Brad, and Marcus show up now too. They're quieter than they used to be, more focused. They've stopped filming every set. Frank doesn't talk much during training, but when he does, they listen. He teaches them about form, about patience, about the difference between strength for show and strength for purpose. Sometimes, after a hard session, Tyler will ask Frank about the war. Frank doesn't always answer, but sometimes he does. And when he does, the words come slow and careful, like handling something fragile. The gym put up a small plaque near the deadlift platform last month. It reads, "Strength is not the absence of weakness. It's the choice to keep lifting anyway." They didn't ask Frank's permission. He saw it one morning and just nodded. Didn't say anything. Didn't need to. The weight says it all. Maybe that's what courage really is. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to stand up anyway. To grip the bar, to pull, to carry what needs carrying, and then to wake up the next day and do it again. History forgets the noise. It remembers the silence that followed. NDO.